That's it. Orphen, Scion of Sorcery, based on the novel and comic Orphen, or Sorcerer's Stabber Orphen, rather. So was Sephi actually a dancer? Zeus was a father. They were all just brought to the island for. Made it seem as it was all just a play. Well, I will say it definitely did not. It didn't play out how I thought it would. How I thought it would play. Tara Strong. Okay. Jennifer Hale. I recognize those voices. Yeah, the story did not play out as I thought it would. So I started the game, played through Sephi's story, and I saw that when we got to Gaia's temple, I think it's Gaia's tomb the first time, we could talk to Zeus and Sephi and Mar, add them to the party. I didn't know, I didn't think at the time it was essentially you stuck with the character all the way through and then beat the game and then started a loop, played a second character, played their story, went through the loop again, picked the third, and went with the third character, and played the loop again, beat their story, and then a final story segment. I didn't think that was because the first session, the first time we could switch characters, or hello, who's this? There he is. There's that cool bastard. That badass Orphen. The end. So, Orphen, back to what I was saying about the story. Because, yeah, the first time we got to Gaia's tomb and we talked to everyone and then went to the main hub area. That's where basically everything happened. Not the rest house, but the main tomb. I remember talking to Zeus, adding him to the party, continuing on into the maze, and it was Sephi's version because we were essentially in Sephi's story. So of course, everything was set up for Sephi. Okay, you're showing me it. That's cool, but what do?
What are we supposed to do here?
Orphen, let me handle this one.
Okay, it's all yours.
I don't even think they maze Sephi version. Well, that would explain why. Says it right there in the location name. Sephi version.
We're in.
Excellent. Whew, not bad for a dancing girl.
Really, that seemed to be, I don't know if you could switch stories at a certain point. I doubt it. I don't think so. I didn't get that sense that you could switch character stories. But when I realized when we got to the end of Sephi's story, we beat that Sephi's final boss, and then it reset us back to the ship crash, the shipwreck, the Leviathan fight. I'm like, oh, we're in a time loop. We have to help all these characters until their until their problems have been solved.
Long have I waited for your coming, forever imprisoned here by the chains of eternity. Unfortunately, there is little I can do, except wait. You have done well, Orphen. Very well. But your true destiny still awaits before you, unfulfilled. Here I will remain, waiting. The stage has been set for you to return. Orphen, you are my only hope.
Okay.
What is this? Haven't I been here before? This is weird.
Ow.
Ah! Okay, so it's not a dream. Then what the hell's going on? Magnus! Cleo! Where are you?
Well, this is interesting. It seems like switching character stories mid-story might have been an early plan. Maybe. Although I don't know how that would play out, because as we saw, the island characters, the three ladies, okay, so Chorus, the three ladies on Island of Chaos, in each story, Sephi, Zeus, Mar, they all have different roles, which I was curious, because I was curious as to why that was, and a little shocked, because when we got to Zeus's story and it was revealed that Chorus was Azel, Zeus's daughter, but in Sephi's story, Chorus was not Azel, and she was the bad guy. She was the main villain of Sephi's story, and then Jado was the good guy, and then in Zeus's story, Jado was bad guy, and then in Mars' story, all three of the ladies, Ronnie, Jado, Chorus, are all good guys, and they're all Mars family, instead of Chorus being Zeus's long lost daughter. And when we first went through the loop, when we first saw the loop, I thought it was going to be the same overall story regarding the crystal egg and time travel and Island of Chaos. I thought it was going to be the same story. We just see it from different angles, like with Sonic Adventure. But no, it's three completely different stories. Same start, but ending is always the same. On the ship, the start is always the same. You start on the ship, you fight Leviathan, you join, you get one of the people to join you. You crash on the island with the character you decide you would add to the party. You go through the first act and get to Guy's tomb. You talk to all the characters, and then you go back to Guy's tomb, pick back up your character, and then go on their second act, second leg. I guess second act would be the proper term. you pick them back up. You go on the second act. You go through the second act. You come back. You talk to everyone again. You pick up the character again, and you go on the third and final act. And then you reset the loop, and then you complete everyone's story, and it's revealed that it's all just an illusion. It's all just a play. Everyone's a player in Gaia's little stage production, Gaia's little play. And Gaia is not like some deity. It's revealed that Gaia is this machine creature that was created by someone. We don't know who, and don't know if we ever learn who, because I doubt that this game is canon to the show at all, based on the very, very limited wiki that exists for sorceress stabber Orphen. They defeat the Gaia robot, and Ronnie, who seems to be like not the director, but like the director's assistant, she was all three of the ladies, Ronnie, Jado, Chorus. She was all the same person. Story wise, it's a good story. It's a fun story. I would have liked to more. Like, I would like to have known like how it is that Gaia chooses the players and how they get players. If I were in charge of this story, there are a couple changes I would have made. Number one, I would have had Orphen be a little more actively aware of like what's going on in when you go into the loop the second time, like him saying things like, "Wait a second, that's not right. Jado's supposed to be the best. Jado's a good guy." Or, "Wait, Forrest is the bad guy, but she's a Zell. What's going on here?" Stuff like that. And then when he's in the third loop, it's even more apparent something's not right. Orphen strikes me as the kind of character the kind of protagonist who he acts and looks like the typical shonen protagonist he seems like he's average intelligence. He's good at what he's good at. So in this case, sorcery. He's good at sorcery. He's knowledgeable in sorcery. He's good enough to have an apprentice, which is what Magnus seems to be. As it says on the background, sorcerer by calling, hero by accident. As Orphen, the powerful but lazy sorcerer, you've always thought being a hero was too much work. But now, you don't have a choice. Harnessed into a risky adventure, you must use your dark powers to help your desperate companions resolve their unique quests. So, yeah, he's a character who's smart, but gives off the kind of impression that he's not exactly dumb, but maybe it seems like he's not as what's the term? You don't think he notices as much as he does. But then not gung-ho, although he definitely seems gung-ho. Especially in this trailer, it makes it look like he's gung-ho. But yeah, it seems like he's the kind of character who most people underestimate just how much he notices. The thing that makes me think that is during Sephi's story, when Sephi is kind of leading, not exactly leading them on a wild goose chase, but she keeps leading them around the island looking for Rufus and hints to Rufus, but they're not finding anything. And then an Orphen is eventually like, "Okay, you're not really here for looking for Rufus, are you? You're not really a dancer, are you? So what, you gonna change your cover story, or are you gonna tell us what's actually going on?
Oh, I don't know how to thank you enough. Now, just give me the egg and we can go back.
And just what do you want with the egg, Sephi?
Oh, well,
You came to this island to pray for your dead fiancé, right? Well then, you shouldn't need the egg for that. So perhaps now is a good time to change your cover story.
Hey, anime.
I was close. So close.
Sephi,
Yes?
why did you really come to the island? Dancers don't dance the way you do, Sephi. Tell me.
Sephi? I came to this island in search of a miracle. A miracle that would bring my true love back to life.
To life?
I wanted to use the egg to be with him again.
Trying to bring him back to life, huh?
Is that possible?
I do like Orphen. He seems like a very fun character, and I'd like to see more. I want to see more of him. Cleo, she's Misty from Pokemon. Magnus, he's the young kid. Steffi's probably my favorite of the three quest characters, and then Zeus, and then Mar. So I started with the best and worked my way to the worst. That's not to say Mars is bad. Mars is all right. But I don't think it's got enough, like, not enough as Sephi or even Zeus. The story's good. I would have liked it to have been expanded, but for what it is, for how long the game is, it works. Speaking of the gameplay, it's technically an RPG, but also not. It's closer to an adventure game. Well, maybe not even an adventure. It's an interesting RPG because it's not turn-based, but it's not real-time RPG either. It says that it's an adventure game. Twitch says it's an action-adventure RPG, according to its tags. I was caught off guard by the fact that there's no leveling up. Granted, when the game is only, according to how long to beat, 8 to 11 hours, yeah, there might not. I shouldn't have been, unless it's like really fast leveling up, at which point it's like, what's the point? There's also no random encounters. They were at specific points. Which when you get into the fights, I like the idea of being able to switch equipment mid-battle and restarting the battle. So if you show up into a battle with weapons that are just absolutely, with spells and weapons that are absolutely not well equipped for your enemies, you can change it out and start again. What I don't like is the fact that you cannot heal outside of restarting the battle. You can restart the battle to heal, but you can't use all those incense and lanterns that they keep giving you. They're outside of the various hazards in the dungeons, in the underground labyrinth, where pretty much all of the all the hazards are, there's no need to use the healing items. And if you're good enough, you don't have to use them at all because you won't get hit by the axes and the spike balls and the mashers. If you're good enough, you don't have to use them at all. So they give you all these items and you don't have to use them. The most, and like, the healing items are the most used. And then the bells and the bags, the chimes. The only time I used those was during Mar's story. I used the chime, the bells that pause enemy movements for 30 seconds while leading Jado to the organ, because those stupid killer bees suck and Mar sucks at attacking. In fact, Mar is the worst character in combat because he's got his he attacks using symbols, which only attack flying enemies. He's got his flutes, which are like Orphen's projectile attacks, and then he's got his harp, which I couldn't quite figure out how to use. I think it's supposed to be like Orphen's shields or armors, I think, but I'm not sure. The symbols attack all flying enemies, but I don't know if it's like you hold it to charge and like, or constantly do it, constantly crash, or if it's just hit it and it sends it off. I couldn't figure out the symbols. And then, so I only used and I couldn't figure out the harp either. So I only ended up using his flute, which is simple enough because it's just a projectile attack like Orphen's projectile spells. So I knew how to use that. And his flute in the overworld, when you're guiding Jado, you can't just, it's not like Orphen's overworld projectile attack where you can tap it, he'll charge it up and shoot it real quick. Mar doesn't do that. You have to hold triangle until he blows a note. And he also has no melee attack like Zeus or Orphen or Sephi do. He's only got the flute, and I'm like, just let him clap, let him cymbal crash the enemies, just clap the enemies on the sides of the head with his cymbals. That'll take care of them. Squash the bugs in the cymbals. Granted, that leading Jado, the Jado escort, was the only part where you had to actually fight in the overworld as Mar. But yeah, no, Mar is the worst character of the quest characters. He's not bad, but he is the worst. He's the least good. I think they definitely put the most work into Sephi's story, and then into Zeus, and I left Mar for last because it definitely does seem like, whether it's intended or just the natural path, it definitely seems like the natural or intended path is Sephi, Zeus, Mar. Because you start the game, you find Sephi first. Well, no. Because I remember one guy on a previous stream saying that depending on which hallway you went down at the start, Cleo's or Magnus's, whichever one, they would determine whether or not you went with Sephi or Zeus. So, and then I don't know how you would get to Mar first on that ship. Get to Mar first and do his story first. I don't know how you would do that, but I don't know where Sephi is if you did Zeus's story first, but you do Sephi's story first, you go back, you go through the ship, and then you find Zeus first. I don't know where you found Mar. I don't know where Mar was. I didn't see him at all. Other gameplay issues. The freaking animations, shielding or shooting, primarily shielding. I don't know why. And I don't know if Orphen's the only character that does this. I don't know if the other characters do this. But sometimes after attacking, after shooting out a spell, Orphen he'll either put out a thumbs up or he'll do this kind of thing for some reason. I don't know what causes which. I'm guessing if he hits, he does a thumbs up. If it doesn't hit, he does the shoulder shrug thing. Regardless of what he does, for some reason, when he's doing that motion, he doesn't freaking, you can't shield. There's a delay. At least there's some kind of delay, because I'll shoot off a spell. An enemy attacker is about to come in. I'm pressing square, and he's doing this. He's shaking his hand or giving a thumbs up, and it's like, Orphen, you moron! What the fuck? And that's large reason why. That's probably one of the main contributing factors as to why the spider boss in the first leg of Zeus's story was such a pain in the butt. That was the worst part of this whole game, was the spider boss in Zeus's story. That was the worst part. Gaia was annoying with him constantly throwing up blocks before you took out his arms. That was annoying. And so were the little laser drones that he would send out. That was also annoying. But the spider, he's got hit, one of his attacks prevents you from throwing up your guard. So if you get hit by it, you have two options. Either run up to the web and start slashing and try to avoid getting hit by the thing, because hitting by more projectiles, because it seems to go where when it's shot, or right before it's shot, it takes a register of where Orphen is and then aims to that spot wherever Orphen is when it shoots. So if Orphen's at the spot where he normally stands, right as it shoots, it's going there. So if you go to melee attack the web or whatever, Orphen runs away, and Orphen runs up and won't get hit, or shouldn't get hit by the projectile. And then of course there's the fire shit, but the fire spurt isn't bad. What was really annoying about that boss fight, and a couple of the boss fights, is the window to attack them is sometimes, especially as they get lower health, the closer they get to death, the window to attack is sometimes too small for how slow the combat is. If they made a second game and they kept this combat, I could see them, and I would hope I could see them improving and making it faster, removing the animations, and it could be pretty fun. Is there anything else I can think of? It looks good. Game looks very good for a launch title, and even it's not as good as Kingdom Hearts, but it does look good. It's like B tier Kingdom Hearts look. It's like if Kingdom Hearts is S tier, this is like B tier. If I got anything else to say, if I can think of anything else, well, let's go see what it is. If not, well, then I guess what's coming up next is going to be the end of the video. Let's find out. I said I was going to talk about this cutscene. This cutscene gave me a lot of false impressions Like, I thought there would be a giant wave of those lizard men. There was no giant wave of lizard men. I thought this was going to be a thing where Orphen like blows up a mountain castle. That didn't happen. I thought that if I had seen this cutscene before knowing how long this video was going to be, I would have figured that if you had shown this cutscene, this trailer, this opening to me before I knew how long the game was going to be, I would have figured that this game would be about 20-30 hours long, about the average length of a Final Fantasy game of this time period. I would have figured. In fact, how long were the Final Fantasy games at this time? Okay, so Final Fantasy 7, 36 hours main story. Final Fantasy 9, 38. Final Fantasy 8, 39 hours. 10, 45 and a half. So maybe not as long as Final Fantasies 7 through 10. Maybe not that long, but about 20 to 30 hours, I would have figured. Just based on that opening. Okay, I think that's everything. Is that everything? I think that's everything. Yes, that is everything. I've got nothing else to add. I thought that I would need to post-record more stuff about Orphen, more thoughts, but to be honest, it's been 2 weeks since we beat Orphen on stream, and we're about to start session 3 of Batman Arkham Knight, the day I'm recording this end of video section, and I got nothing. I'll be honest, Orphen it's a fun game. I enjoyed my time with it, but like, it's one of those games that you can have fun with in the moment, but at least for me, who is very new to this whole game reviewing game, I got not a lot to say, or nothing much else to say, so I would give it probably a 7 or 6 out of 10. Or actually, no, since I'm a Sonic fan, I gotta give it a rank. I would give it a C rank. Orphen is a C rank game. It's average. But compared to Summoner, the one of the other launch RPGs for the PS2, Orphen is far and away an A rank game. Far and away. Summoner, if I remember correctly, I put in the D rank for 2024 game clearing games. The only thing that kept it out of E tier, out of E rank, was the fact that it's got some interesting ideas. Other than that, Summoner was just an absolute nightmare. Orphen, on the other hand, was basically a dream. But yeah, that's gonna be it for Orphen. So, until the next review, come on out to watch me play Batman Arkham Knight every Monday, 8 p.m. on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Shane Leith. Although, the next game clearing review, or post-game review, rather, will probably end up being Mario and Luigi Brothership, which we're playing every other Wednesday on my Twitch. Because we are currently at Bowser's Castle, I don't think it's like the final visit to Bowser's Castle. I'm pretty sure this is probably the first of at least 2 or 3 visits. So the next game review is probably going to end up being Mario and Luigi Brothers Ship before we get to Batman Arkham Knight's post-game review, although I may be wrong. Who knows? Who knows? But you can find out. You can find out when we beat Mario and Luigi Brothers Ship or Batman Arkham Knight or any of the other games that I play over my Twitch. Every Monday through Thursday evening. Schedule is on my Twitter. Or X, I guess. x.com/Shane Leith. Links are down in the description. You can also find the schedule on my Twitch, twitch.tv/Shane_Leith. And that's going to be it. Until next time. Until I see you all again. I got to figure out how I end these videos. I got to figure that out. I got to nail it down. I have an idea. But I just need to put it in stone and execute it. Until next time, y'all have a good day, or good night, or good morning, or good evening, a good whatever time of day it is. And goodbye.